And now she's in. Do you have the presentation somewhere? The one that I think Rachel sent, right?
It's in my laptop, which is at home.
Did she copy the front desk email on that? Do you remember
I didn't know it's
seeing an email from 3612?
I can forward it to you,
Yeah,
but I can tell you, it's in like a zip form.
yeah, you have to open it. Let me see. I can't remember if she did or not. Copy. The front desk email. Oops. And Katie just did it last week because she knows how to do it, but all of the other instructors going forward are going to move. I gotta go figure out my password here.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing okay. A little nervous about this, but we'll
I'm sure
live.
you'll do fine.
We will live.
Yep. I'm sure you'll do just fine.
Well, I'm teaching probably what is my least favorite thing to do, which is prospecting. So it's gonna be more of do what I say, not what I do. Is Jen's office upstairs or downstairs?
Upstairs.
I asked you a big favor. I sprained my ankle hiking.
Ooh.
I'm trying not to do steps, but I have could you run an aspirin checkup?
Yeah, it
Would you mind
starts.
doing that? I'm
with
sorry, I
Yeah,
feel really
yeah.
bad because I hate asking if anybody
You're
can pay
fine.
for me,
Yeah,
but if I went up the stairs, I might actually cry.
I can just make a copy and give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually like email.
Oh,
it
do
to-
they end up coming to you anyways?
Yeah.
They all
Oh,
do, and I
okay.
make a copy and I send to the agent, but since you're here, you just want it instead of getting an email to you.
I prefer to have an email to you,
All right.
There you
because
go.
then I can just upload it right into my file.
Trying to get away from paper.
Although I have this, I'm actually so glad I bought this. I'm gonna leave it if you guys want to, if anybody wants to use it. Because there's more in here than there is in, way more in here.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how am I supposed to fill 2 hours with this PowerPoint?
So it was free. All of my, feeds
I
into.
think it's like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh,
Yep. Yep, that's it. And it's,
because I had to send it
yeah, and
to.
it's in a zip, so you gotta like,
Prospect.
I go prospecting, but I could not, I had to put it in Google Drive. Yep.
There we go. All right, so then.
I need to make sure that I get that in my email because I've never gotten anything of this. I have no
Maybe
idea.
just go
Well,
forward
it-
it to-
Yeah, it'll now be in the downloads here every day though, so
Okay,
it'll be here for all the future instructors too, so we'll make this smaller for a moment. Goes out of this, and then we'll do share screen so that it's on the presentation. Are you sharing any videos or anything?
No,
Okay, no, that's okay.
was I supposed to?
No, no. And
And then you just tell me how I go to the next screen, just over here, just click on it.
yeah,
And I'll take it
but
to
you can just hit the arrows. too.
Okay.
I was wondering if. Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
So then you just hit the arrows.
okay.
So that it takes off all of those side screens then. And is it coming up over there too still?
No. Oh,
No, it's not.
well then,
Oh, this is to connect to a laptop. Oh, on the back.
like, this TV is like too high tech for me.
It's not tech enough for me, this one. It's like a little bit of a pain, but I wish that they were set just to mirror each other, but they're not. They're actually set as 2 different TVs, but we have the mirror feature working. But sometimes, like this should automatically come up, and I don't know why. It was earlier. And then when I changed the, when I had to reset it, because that one wanted us to, this one stopped working.
so what's that cord there? Is that the
This is like, so somebody could bring their laptop in and just connect directly, which is really, it's a lot simpler, but, I only have a Mac, so.
Why was supposed to bring my laptop? I forgot.
it's okay.
I mean, just glad I remember myself.
We might not get this one to work today. That's okay, because you'll still have this one and everybody over there.
How many people have been coming in?
I don't know. I was out all last week sick.
Are you feeling better? I
Yeah,
thought I had COVID last week. Turned out I had a really nasty sinus infection, but
I did have
I,
COVID.
did you? I COVID tested myself 3 times.
Oh, and you were
I
okay.
was okay. I actually I COVID tested myself twice and it came back negative and I still didn't believe it. So I went to the doctor.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm pretty sure you have a sinus infection that was not go too long. She's like, I'll COVID test you.
Right.
And it came back negative and she treated me with the antibiotic and within like 24 hours I was
You
feeling.
were okay.
I wasn't okay, but I was
But
actually feeling like I
better.
wasn't dying.
Dead? Yes. That's how I felt.
dead,
for a
laying
couple
in bed,
days.
just trying to like, the postnasal drip is what was like.
Anything I can get you for your sprained ankle.
Oh, I'm
pain?
fine. I'm gonna pull this table
Okay.
over here. So,
I don't wanna sit because when I sit, it stiffens up and
Yeah.
it's such a freaking pain in the ass.
Yeah, I don't think you have to sit. You can stay standing. I would if I was. Yeah, I wonder where that thing came from. It must have been in one of the closets. That thing over there. It looks out of place. That's why I'm asking about it. It used to be in the hallway at the old office. I haven't seen it since the old office though. All right.
Well, thank you for showing.
Yeah, it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, I know.
Well, I didn't know about it. I just knew, when it started, they came in, they did their thing, but I was not told.
That's the people that know how to do the things.
Yeah,
I'm not that person.
Well, that's because Katie was
Oh,
Katie was
great,
the only
Katie.
instructor last week, so that's
Yeah.
why she knew how to set it up.
I don't know who else is in the group of,
Everybody else
Instructors.
will not know,
okay.
I promise. Like, it's all people really too that aren't in this office often. Except for Jeremy Tully, but he won't know how to do this either. Cause he's never been in here for a training.
No, I need to get something that will tell me who's presenting, because I also haven't received nothing as regards to who's teaching
There's
that day.
another email from Rachel
With that list.
with that list.
I didn't get any, especially
Okay.
last week. I
Hi.
got nothing.
The very first post that not first one of the recent ones about 3612, I listed all of the instructors and they're in order of how they're presenting too.
Oh, okay.
So I can get that. I know I have that. I'll forward it to you.
Alrighty, thank you.
How we doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
So I don't know why I'm teaching this one, because this is probably the one I'm the least qualified to teach. But
We always learn.
I was gonna say, I did learn some things as I was going through it, and so I joined Keller Williams in January of 2019. And I took this class in July and August of 2018. And I actually, because I thought you had to do this to take these classes, I went on the website and ordered the materials.
Okay.
So I have this book that has way more information that's in these PowerPoints. Cause I was like, how am I supposed to fill up 2 hours? And then I found the actual book. So some of it's outdated because these are all like pre-social media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
but I did pull a lot of information out of it.
Some of the stuff Katie was doing was a little outdated.
Yeah.
So she was using a book that she had.
We have to use what we have. And I forgot my laptop, so I don't even have the PowerPoint set up in front of me, so I don't even know, the people aren't gonna see me, because I don't have my laptop. On
Yeah,
Zoom. They're gonna see that. They
hopefully,
didn't
yeah.
send me a list of what to bring, and I just brought myself, so.
Okay.
And my book. And the Zoom is set up on there. And when it is time, I will get somebody who knows what they're doing to come back in and.
I know last week, they turned the camera on, but then
Is that a
Katie had
camera?
then Katie had her
So I have to be-
laptop with the Zoom, and she just sat in front of her laptop, and you could see Katie and the people online, but they couldn't see us.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll probably have to move over and get in front of it.
well, again, I think when Katie started, because she had her laptop hooked up, that wasn't, at least from our vantage point, we couldn't see it. So,
And she had something we were supposed to work on and have for this week, and I asked her what it was. And she said MVVVP, and I have no idea what that is.
She did say something about the validity statement. Like your value proposition,
Okay.
unique selling proposition, your value proposition. Essentially, like a mission statement for what you stand
Oh,
for. I can read my writing.
See, like, you got, because I was on, I had to like put it on my car, because I did have to leave to go to some appointments. But like, you guys do not get all of this stuff. Like, there's some really good stuff in this book, especially about trying to figure out your value proposition.
Yeah, now she printed out a section last week
Oh,
or
I
Jen.
need- hold on, I need something. I sprained my ankle.
Oh, no.
I'm a hiker and I sprained my ankle.
Oh, my gosh.
Case.
Good
Hey,
morning.
how are you?
Good.
I'll sit here on the end. I gotta charge my headset. Hopefully it will work.
I don't know, I just got here. You can check. Oh, okay. Jen might be able, I think.
Jen?
Jen's here,
Okay.
she might have something. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, hiking this weekend. You did it? And
I live close to Pinchot,
oh, yeah.
so I go down there almost every day, especially in the summer, because I usually get out at like 6 in the morning, which is what I did Sunday morning, and I like misstepped on a rock
Oh, no.
and rolled my ankle, and I mean, I really did myself in. I had to like crawl myself out of the woods about 1.5 miles on my walk.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Prospecting. This is a good one today.
This is. Do you know where I find the packets that we're supposed to print and have here?
I checked with Megan.
She's looking right now, but look what I found, because I'm a weirdo.
Oh,
And I
So-
took this class and bought this because I thought we had to.
No, remember, did you take it with Rhonda?
Yes.
Yeah, so she had that whole thing. That's perfect.
Yeah,
You mean the package for them though?
yes, because I mean, I would be happy to print out what I have, but it actually has my
Grab the bag.
notes in it from when I took this class. Which is really funny, like, so I highlighted this, so I was so new to Keller Williams. And new to actually getting business, because that's one of the things I wasn't taught before I came here. Like, you should see what I highlighted. It's so funny. Cause I didn't know what a meant and a habit meant was. So this is like highlighting what the definitions of them were was one of the things
But
the first time I took this around. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what Rhonda was talking
The
about.
problem is too many people focus on the not mets, which is like your Zillow leads or the people you
Yeah.
never talk to, when 80% of your business will come from your
Yep.
mets.
Yeah,
Now, some of this is outdated. They need to like revamp
We go
this.
check with Megan. So I never bags back though. Packets.
were you a realtor before you came to
I
Kelly?
was, so I was with Remax and my mom, I'm a second generation, so I'm like, my mom's like 38 or 40 years.
That's
old.
right, yeah.
Uh, she was kind of, because I'm like 90, I had my license for 9 years. So all of her business was repeat business and referrals. Like you get to the point where you don't have to work so hard, like it just comes to you.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in that kind of downturn where she was okay, just repeat business and referrals. Didn't really put a lot of effort into that. So that is one thing I did not know. Like I had no idea how to get my own business before I joined Carboys. And so I remember taking this class and I was like, what's a met and habit meant? And that is like one of the things, like one of the only things I highlighted in all of this is like how to get habit meant to be your met.
Yeah,
So I went back and reread all of this over the weekend and took some different notes. Maybe you'll be my only person.
Mindy's here.
I feel like Mindy should be teaching us. Where I should be.
Well, again, I guess it depends on if we get the camera turned on or whether, yeah.
I'll be right in.
Okay,
Katie's coming down and
okay. I don't know where I'm supposed to stand. I'm standing right in front of this camera right now. And I don't want to sit down, because if I sit down, my ankle's gonna stiffen up.
how is it?
Okay, I mean, I can actually put a shoe on today. Calling that a win.
That's progress.
Hi, I feel like I should not, I should be the student, not the teacher with all you in here.
No. No.
Well, at least we're here, right?
Yes, we are.
Your pants, those are cool.
I'm like living from TJ Maxx or Amazon.
I've never bought clothes on Amazon.
So I sprained my ankle and it's been causing me issues to sleep. So Sunday night, I Amazon purchased like an entire wardrobe for my vacation.
So you can.
Swimsuits, shoes, clothing for my kids, clothing for my husband.
Oh my gosh, how do you know they fit? Like, I've never,
It's so easy to send stuff back now, because you just literally go on Amazon and say return and take it to the UPS store and I don't know how it works. It's something
It's
like it
magical.
just magically works that they can automatic, as long as you have it in what they sent you, you just take it back to them, they send it back and the money gets refunded.
I'm such a texture weirdo though.
I know,
that have
me
to
too.
feel stuff.
I do too. I have to feel it and like, there's
Like
just.
my brother is a VP with various department store chains, and so I picked up from him like walking through and feeling stuff.
Yeah,
I
no.
Plus,
Oh, I love, like, to me, it's like therapy. Like, I don't even have to buy anything. Like, I can go to the mall for 3
Yeah,
hours
just
and just
love
buy a soda and be happy. Like, I
no,
just,
no, that would freak me out.
like, I just need like
I have to have a
things on.
purpose.
Oh, no, I just, I miss, like,
The other
the
thing that
shopping
makes me
aspect
sick
of malls and
is
stuff.
knowing what the markup is on everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Like back in the
Yes.
day, remember
Oh, I'm sure it's
we
80%.
girls, we were probably in Jordache jeans back in the 80s when those
Mhm.
came out. Well, my brother could have those manufactured for $1.50 a pair. And so while I had friends going together, 2 or 3 of them to buy a pair of jeans to share,
Wow,
I was like, no, thank you.
yeah.
But yeah, and so consequently, Courtney only shops from a sale rack. Like she'll wear
Yeah.
name brand stuff, but if it's not on sale, it's not.
I'm
Yeah,
also the person like,
Yeah, I do too.
because I also like, I am tall, so
Yeah.
pants are always an
Yes.
issue.
Right, which is why
And I
I'm
have
like, how do you
large,
buy
I
it?
wear a large size shoes, that's always, so if I find something that fits good, I will buy it like in every
That's what I
color,
do.
multiple, like I have like 5 pairs of black pants that are all the same pants.
Right.
Like I just,
Did I already know Fred Ditzler?
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was an agent back in the day. He was at Century 21 with Dolly, and then he moved over to, we were
Step over
credentialed
here.
in.
Step over here, I want to see.
He,
Oh, sorry.
he said he keeps his stuff simple.
all.
He just
PJs.
buys every year, he'll buy 5 pairs of shorts, 5 different polos and whatever. And then at the end of the season, he just throws all of them away. and
Oh my
gets-
gosh.
Yeah,
I have stuff in my closet that's 20 years old that I'm like, someday I'm gonna get back into this.
yeah,
Yeah, because I'm like, I
I'm on
like
that
this. I'm not
adventure
throwing this
now.
away.
like unearthing things that I can wear again.
Yeah.
But, and then there's things with tags on it still.
Well, that's what makes me,
Well, yeah, because I see stuff on the sale rack and I'm like, oh, I really like this.
well, I'd like to say I'm not always very good at returning
Yeah.
things that I buy.
Yeah.
Like I tried to buy Nicholas Adidas shorts, and instead of buying men's larges, I bought like toddler,
Oh, crap.
like 5 pairs. So I just gave it to a friend. It's easier than returning. Okay,
How do we get the people on?
yeah, what do I do now?
Okay, see your keyboard.
Zoom in?
There's 3 people there.
You got some great eyes.
Oh, last time we were on this screen, now we're on this screen. Maybe I should scooch.
that screen to work today. Should I be, is anybody like gonna see me or they only gonna see the screen?
They'll-
only see you. Oh. So this is where I should be.
Yeah, oh, let's start your video though, that would help. All right, and then if they have,
Now they
they
see
don't have their videos on, so we won't see them.
Right.
But they will see you,
Except for I'm doing dishes.
they should be seen because we're shared. One, Kristen, can you give us a message in the chat box if you can see our screen with the presentation up?
Should we be using the microphone?
Can you hear us? I'm assuming they can hear us. Yep, they can hear us. Perfect, thank you, Kristen.
Should I get started?
Yep,
You should put their videos on so we can see who's there.
I know.
Come on, show your faces.
How do I see when they make a comment, how they're gonna see what they're commenting?
It'll just pop up here in chat that there's a comment.
Okay, and I can just touch screen?
No.
Okay.
Before I say no.
Let me touch it first, but it's not that smart. So you'll just use the mouse on the keyboard.
You like the Today Show, but now.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
You'd like the green screen with the weather.
I know.
Culprits coming in here.
Down here we have leaves.
Yeah.
So I'm walking to this.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
yes.
It's a little awkward.
I know, it's like gonna be weird for all of us. That's why I feel like I need to come so I can kind of see how this goes, because
Yeah.
who knows what it's gonna be
Yeah.
like.
I might have either one comfortable. Okay, welcome everybody.
And practice on us.
Today, we're gonna learn about prospecting. And I'll be learning right along with you. Okay, I took this class in 2019 with Rhonda Fisher. And I believe Rhonda actually taught this session. And I have notes from when I learned from her that really helped me get started in lead generation and prospecting. One of the things I highlighted, and we'll get back to it, I didn't even know what a have met and a met was yet. So hopefully we'll all get something out of this, and I would like participation as well. And I'm going to be learning right along with you. Okay, so we have ground rules. Supposed to arrive to class on time. Maybe time-ish.
We're
Okay.
here, all three of us are here on time.
We would like everybody to be present. Turn off your phones if you can. Remember the bull ball, how you participate here is how you participate everywhere. And are we displaying an open mindset or a fixed mindset?
I have a problem with that.
And enjoy your time, comment on, and commit to implementing at least one thing that you learned today. Okay, so we are here today to work on lead generation, and I hope we can collaborate and learn from each other as well. So the first exercise that I have is, where are we today? What are you doing right now as far as lead generation activities? And it's asking us to list the lead generation activities that you completed in the last 24 hours. So who
What's
was
that loud? Sorry.
Well, can this be true confession time?
Yes.
I've fallen off the wagon.
Me with Nicole Braxton.
Yeah.
Has anybody done one thing as far as lead generation in the last 24 hours?
Me.
Okay, Megan?
Me, because my TC business is really, really draining right now, and I don't have any files.
Okay, so
Like,
you've been
going
reaching out
forward
to
September.
agents?
So I actually applied to 18 Indeed ads last night of agents that were looking to hire admins and
Okay.
executive assistants, just to see if I could toss my name into the hat for them. So that was kind of like my reverse prospecting for the day.
Okay,
But, and no bites yet, and it may not work, but I'm trying to do everything that I can. I have 2 employees I have to protect, so.
okay.
Wow.
Anybody else?
I followed up with a phone call of a gal who we spoke, well, we've been speaking off and on for a year and a half. But I think she's serious now about putting her house on the market. And I think she's a financial planner, so she's savvy enough to see what's going on in the market. And called me over the weekend, kind of panic stricken, and said, I think we need to list my house like now. And then, of course, I've been playing phone tag and have been able to physically reach her. But hopefully that'll be, a nice one to come up. And then I also got a potential referral through the CRS directory from someone from Iowa who wants to list, who's moving back home to Iowa. But the agent said that he's interviewing several agents. So I don't have his name or contact information yet, but I feel like at least
I love that.
my information is out there and somebody else reached out. So I did, speak with the agent twice, and I did send her a thank you note so that at least if this guy doesn't work out,
Yeah.
You know.
Want my copy script for that? That's great. Tell me, can I be the first one in to set the bar for everybody else? Or should I be the last one in to show you what everybody else doesn't?
oh, that's a great one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
People at home,
It comes
because I don't
out.
have my laptop, would you mind if you have anything to add, just speaking out, will we be able to hear them? Because I can't
I know,
see it over here and see the chat.
yeah, if the chat comes up,
Yeah.
one of us will see it, I think.
Okay, you guys will see it?
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
let you know.
I did a showing Sunday for another agent, just because he was on vacation.
Mhm.
And while those clients were leaving, one of the neighbors walked up and started talking to me. So now yesterday I spent time creating a mailer to send out to the neighborhood. I have her name, I have some other neighbors' names of hers. So I'm gonna send something out to them to introduce myself.
Cool. I guess I did do some prospecting. I have a couple agent to agent referrals in the last 24 hours. So one guy's supposed to call me today. He's looking for an investment property. And what was the other one? I just lost it.
Aaron, we're just
What have you done? in the
getting
last
started. We're
24 hours?
talking about what we've done in the last 24 hours for lead generation.
I have 8 Facebook leads for a property that I had to relist because we fell out of contract at the last
Okay.
moment for a stupid truck.
Okay.
But those I have a hard time with because they're not always real information, like it's a fake name.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like I've had Donald Duck,
Yeah.
so.
One of the things I've done with the leads and when I do an ad,
Mhm.
when it comes into command, I created a tag that says wrong information. Because it automatically gets put into your,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
great idea.
And so if I call them, you might have either their phone number or their email. You usually have their email,
Right,
but you don't, their phone number is probably wrong.
right.
And I have a tag that says incorrect information.
Okay.
And then I try to go in and email them and get
The right
the
information.
right, like their phone number, at least their phone number. But if you have your email, that's something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. The tags and the leads come in, like when
Yeah.
you set up, you can set up when you do like one I did just for K-score.
I
And
did that too.
my tag says K-score.
That's what mine does too.
Yeah, so,
That's really nice.
okay, what are our ahas? I would be willing to say our ahas are, we're probably not spending the 3 hours a day
Probably.
to work towards those 36 sales a year, right?
Yep.
So I think we all have improvement to do. Me especially, I know I followed up on one lead yesterday, and it was a lead that came through command. So I did no outside prospecting other than following up on that lead. I've been stuck in the business right now
Mhm.
instead of creating business. So that is my area to work with. Okay,
And nobody chatted, by the way.
okay. Can you be in charge of that if you see a
Sure.
chat?
Sure.
So I don't wanna exclude everybody that might be watching it. Okay. Okay, so we are working on our 36-12-3 course map. And Katie took us through the power of one and validity and prospecting last week. And she did ask us to work on our value proposition and our kind of like our
Unique selling.
yes, our unique selling proposition. Does anybody have something they'd like to share?
I didn't do it.
I don't yet. I'm still working on that.
Okay,
I did a rough draft. I actually did this morning.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Based on
You're a good
what people
student.
were, hey.
Better late than
Okay.
never.
Would you like
If
to
I can-
share?
Yeah, if I can read my scratching.
Good
But
for
I
you.
started out saying, it may sound like a Boy Scout, the Boy Scout laws,
Motto.
but the motto, yeah. But when you involve me in your real estate transaction, you'll be getting somebody that will be working with you, who is honest, trustworthy, caring, and genuine. That's all the things that people told me that came back to me with.
Oh, that's good.
I am an engaging person with experience in both personal and professional knowledge of pricing strategies, repair strategies, investor knowledge, and I'll assist you in any way through the real estate process. So that's something I just threw together. I need to polish it up a bit, but.
Yeah.
So,
At least you're on the right track. You got
Yeah.
something on
yeah,
paper.
yeah,
I remember doing this back in 2019, and when I was reading back through this, preparing for today, I really struggled with that. Like I have all kinds of notes and
Mhm.
crossed things out, then wrote different words to characterize myself. So I think it's not something that you can just do quickly, and it takes a little bit of time.
I tried to rate it yesterday, all day, just trying to, I do things and come back and try. I
I
couldn't.
think one of the hardest things to do is to talk about ourselves. And you're really trying to put your best foot forward, and you don't want to sound,
Braggadocious.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, moving on. So. I don't know if you have this in your package, but there's an agent in here that is perfect day of prospecting. And I'll go ahead and read part of it, his perfect day of prospecting. It's Bill Watson of Phoenix, Arizona, has been wired for leads from his first day in real estate back in 1993. To this day, his routine hasn't varied a bit. He devotes between 5 and 7 hours a day of prospecting. This is how he described it. Bill Watson's perfect day, from 7 to 8 a.m., he will call expired and canceled leads. From 8 to 9 a.m., he does administrative work and follow-up. From 9 to 10, he calls for sale by owners. 10 to 12, he door knocks. From 12 to 1, then I think he goes to lunch. From 1 to 2, he calls expired listings and return phone calls from the people that he called earlier. From 2 to 3, he door knocks again, and after 3 p.m., he goes on appointments and calls expired listings again. He says he just stays to his schedule and does that every single working day. One of the things that I took away from this, if you go back down, if you go past the next paragraph, and it's just basically saying, are you tired from reading this? And I'm curious how one actually implements that and gets that, I guess, repetitive and can really carve out their workday. That's pretty intense. One of the things I found most interesting about this is he has pictures of his kids, the amount of money he wants to have in his bank, a picture of a Bentley, a hotel in Maui, a picture of a Pebble Beach golf course. So he puts his whys right around him, and I think that's probably part of his motivation that keeps him doing that every day.
I'm thinking though, with that kind of a schedule, he clearly has to either have a solid TC admin, wife, somebody,
Mhm.
because
When I
Like,
went through
holy
and really read
crap,
a lot of
starting at
these,
7
and I don't
a.m.
know what's in yours versus what I get, a lot of these have to have teams. I would consider him a rainmaker, and then he's probably passing, once he gets the people on the hook, gets the appointment, things are getting passed off. I mean,
That's
that's an intense day.
Yeah.
That's
If I
going
could do-
past the 3 hours a day.
yeah, if I could do that day, 1 day a week, I think that would be like a 5-star week.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's intense. 7
It
to
also
8,
is his perfect day, not every day.
Yes,
Right,
he
you know,
does say he does that.
a lot.
A lot.
He
Yeah.
stays on his schedule and he does that every single working day. I mean, we can all say a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so the
intense.
lead generation puzzle. We're gonna go to the next slide. Okay. The lead generation puzzle. Lead generation requires both prospecting and marketing. I think everybody likes the market because you kind of create the piece, you set it, and you want the people to come to you. That's the easiest, but it's the most effective.
Well, I think one of the things that I recently learned, I mean, only after joining Keller Williams, after all these years, I never linked marketing with prospecting.
Yeah.
Prospecting was literally the phone calls, the door knocking, the yucky part of it. Like you said, the marketing is
Yeah.
the more creative part, the more
Yep.
fun part, the more like cognitive part. I never, ever, ever linked those two. So in reality, I've probably always been doing more lead gen than I thought I was,
Yeah.
because I never connect that 1/2 or whatever, 1/3 of the prospecting marketing combo.
Yep.
So to me, that gave me a little bit of grace and a little bit of a relief going, oh, well, then maybe I'm doing more lead gen than I think I am.
Yeah.
When I'm making the letter, or when I'm stuffing the envelopes, or when I'm driving to a house to do a pop by.
The
You know?
marketing part of it is more expensive because you're paying for things. The phone call is like the direct
Right.
is your time and it's less money. So, okay, so Brad Puffer, the Puffer team from Asheville, North Carolina, says his 20% is prospecting. And then he says, do I stack marketing on top of that? Absolutely. So he puts his focuses on prospecting and then supplements it with marketing. Okay. Here we go into more of a description of prospecting and marketing. Prospecting is seeking leads. You're going to the people and you're looking for the leads. Marketing is attracting leads, getting people to come to you. So on the next page, it goes into seeking leads. I think this was, all these materials were probably made before social media really took hold. And I do think you can do a lot of marketing on social media, but I also think you can do prospecting on social media if you do it right. You can reach out to people directly in Messenger. That is not just creating a funnel and having the leads come to you. You can actually go to the people in social media. That's not touched on a lot of what's in here.
I think people too don't always pick up the phone, but they will answer a text or a direct message.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and this was done in 2015. So,
Yeah, so you're just kind of getting
We've-
into, yeah. Okay, to get in this business, number one, you need to really be a proactive person, not a reactive person. Get the leads rather than wait for them to come to you. And that's a quote from Brad McKissick. I think most of us know who he is and their team, and they're pretty successful. Okay. The lead generation puzzle using prospecting and marketing. So this is one thing I learned after I joined Keller Williams in 2019. I didn't know what a habit meant and a net was. And that's one of the things I took away from this the first time I took this class is you have to prospect to the habit nets to get them to be a net. But you also don't have to look for people that you don't know. You can prospect the folks at prospect the Mets, and really lean into that. The people you already know. The phone calls that are the easiest to make are the people that you know. And when you're starting to build up your confidence in making those prospecting calls, I started with the easy calls first. Just to get my mindset wrapped around, like, they do want to talk to you. So call the people, and you don't even have to, when you're first starting to make prospecting phone calls, you don't have to ask them for business. You can just call them and talk to them and just stay in front of them and start to lead in as you gain more confidence, then asking for business. Okay. So this is showing that your emphasis needs to be on prospecting. It needs to take up the biggest portion of your lead generation. More prospecting, less marketing. Does anybody have anything to add to that? Any comments on how they prospect versus market?
See, I like to see people eyeball to eyeball and belly to belly. And so doing events was always my thing. Then
Yeah.
COVID happened.
Yeah.
So I would set up at the women's show. I would do any show I could just to get out and meet people. I need to get better at the phone. Just because
Yeah.
And I go back to early days of Bold. I don't know if you guys, if they still do this, but the mindset when you pick up the phone to start calling is they're home, they're happy, and they want to chat with me.
Yes. Yep, yeah. We did not talk about that at this last Bold, but when I took Bold in 2019, in the fall of 2019, that's one of the things that we said every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and that became really true during COVID. Like when I think about why my business was so successful last year was because I was home with my kids and I called all my friends and my friends' moms and dads as we were like struggling to figure out like how to homeschool / virtual school / whatever. But those were just conversations like as we were reaching out to like get COVID support that turned into business. When I look at the marketing / or the prospecting / marketing, like your marketing isn't any good unless you follow up with with what happens with it. So, and that's something that I'm struggling with a little bit this year as I have buyers who want to be in certain neighborhoods and inventory is crazy low and I've sent letters and but I need to probably follow up with door knocking. Or pay for Mojo so I can get those phone numbers and call those neighborhoods because the letters just haven't popped the response that they did when people were at home and not working.
I had door knocked one time in my 9 years of business and I had clients, this was leading up to COVID, so it was before COVID, right before COVID. They only wanted to live in Greenbrier Glen in Dillsburg, which probably has about 100 houses in it. I had sent the cards. I literally got to the point where I was walking the neighborhood. I knew people that lived in that neighborhood and I had them like, do you know any of your friends that are thinking of, like, I was stalking people. And I had gotten some leads that were thinking that we're gonna list. But the house didn't meet the criteria. And they didn't end up becoming my listings because they already had agents, like they were already working towards it. I ended up door knocking and I was scared. And I'm talking, this is just a few years ago, and I've had several years under my belt, and I was still nervous to do it. But when I started, by the time I was finished, like, cause I would just take my dog, I didn't do it really well at first because I was afraid to talk to people. So I did it if somebody was outside and I talked to them. But by the end, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna knock on the door. They're either gonna talk to me or they're not. Most people didn't. I ended up getting them in that neighborhood. It wasn't through door knocking, but it was a good experience. So I don't know if I'll get back to doing it again. I don't have anything so specific right now. Okay, so this is kind of what Erin touched on. Prospecting reinforces marketing. When I was reading through this, the materials, one of the things that's in here is from Gene Rivers, and he has a mail call see program. He sends out a mailer, and then he calls them, and then he works at getting to go see them, set the appointment. One of the things I thought about when I was kind of thinking of ideas to actually implement this is instead of sending out 400 postcards, maybe send out 20 equity reports, like really micro it. Send out the equity report and then follow up with the phone call. So it could even be people that you have sold houses to 6, 7, 8 years ago, or you can just pick, a small neighborhood and send the report. If you're putting the time in and the money, because you're gonna pay to print this, you're gonna send it to them. Do the phone call. And I'm actually gonna probably implement this instead of just sending out a mass card that most people just stand over their trash and throw it away. Maybe send something that has a little bit more value to them. Not just a card, maybe put together like a couple sheets, and then give them a phone call. Or if you're old, knock on their door. and see if you can get a phone call a conversation started with them. That's one of the things I kind of thought about. Does anybody else have any ideas they'd like to share? Has anybody sent any equity reports out?
I've sent some RPRs electronically to
Okay.
people, like, you know, we sort of started talking, or maybe I sold their house a while back or helped them buy. And because of COVID and, you know, trying to figure out new ways, I knew people were home with their electronic devices. And so I've done like the mini report and then said, you know, very boldly, you know, like, this is not for sure, because I've been in your house, this is just an estimate, but if you want more information, you know, let's talk.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a lot of like response, but the few people that did send something back said, oh, that was really cool, thanks. So at least I knew they were alive, like they opened it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So I did send an equity report out to a neighborhood, what I would consider a starter neighborhood in Northern York School District, Sherwood Forest. I did send, here's what's sold in your neighborhood, and here's, you know, here's the equity that houses are showing, you know, over the past couple of years. It was literally just a couple pages out of Bright, you know, with recent sales, and there wasn't a lot, because there's not a lot of houses selling.
Yeah.
And where I fell off is I sent those and then did nothing else with it. So I think if I'm gonna put the effort into doing those, then I need to like get back in touch with them, you know, some way. Okay. So we kind of touched on this a little bit before we started recording, is the cost versus time effort with marketing and prospecting.
No, that's
Those are
who's,
just
who's
on
Okay.
call.
Matt and Juan.
Okay. Okay, so prospecting, the cost is minimal, but the time effort is maximum. Because you have to plan out your day, who you're gonna call, you have to have your phone calls. You have to create your, you know, your bunker, your fort. And then you gotta start calling people, and when you get people on the phone, then you have to spend time and talk to them. And I don't know if you've ever called somebody and you turn around and you've been on the phone for 45 minutes with them. You know what I mean? Somebody that you haven't talked to in a little while, and then you realize when you hang up with them, you really didn't talk about anything business. You know what I mean? So being prepared with a script, and there is a script in my packet. I don't know if you have it. It's on my page 18. Yep. Okay. So this would be probably calling somebody that you had sent a marketing piece of material to. Good day, my name is Nicole Yeingst with Keller Williams Keystone. Did you receive a postcard I sent you regarding your neighbor's home that is for sale? Do you know anyone who might be interested in this home? It would be my pleasure to provide the answer to any of your real estate questions. I think that's pretty salesy. I would probably water that down a little bit. Hi, this is Nicole Yeingst. I'm with Keller Williams Keystone. Did you receive the equity report that I sent in the mail? It's crazy how quickly housing values have gone up in the past couple of years. Are you curious to have, you know, to see what your actual market value is of your home? I'd be happy to come and take a tour of your house. Something like that. That's still a little salesy.
I was gonna say that feels more bold than what's written, but I like it.
Yeah,
And it sounds very natural to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's more directed toward them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the person you're
And-
talking to.
Yeah, not so generic.
Yeah,
There's a good chance that they're not going to want to have you come to their home, but at least they got a piece of mail with your name on it, and hopefully it didn't make it to the trash. And then they, you know, got a phone call from you, and maybe they don't know somebody, or maybe in a few months they might, and they might remember you. You know, I think if you're sending them something of value that actually shows value of their house, they're more likely to keep a hold of that than they are of a postcard that of a house that just sold or was just listed, or, you know, I think if you're giving them something that's more valuable to them, they're more likely to keep a hold of it. Okay, so with marketing can get expensive. How many has sent out, how many has gone and sold a house and said, okay, we're gonna go in and we're just gonna send out a flyer to the closest half mile of people that live around, and then your total comes up to like $400, and you're like, oh, let's tighten this up a little bit, sorry. And then your time and effort is minimal, because you're just sending out a postcard. Usually it's auto-generated, through Quantum, and you're just putting your payment information and sending it. Or you're creating something on Facebook. But I have learned that when you say marketing is less of a time cost, sometimes when you get sucked into Facebook, it can be a time cost, if you're not careful in what you're doing. Okay. Does anybody have any thoughts on marketing versus prospecting and cost of money versus cost of time? Any tricks, tips, something they've done?
So I door knocked the neighborhood. I had just listed it. Kristen sent out cards for me, just listed. We had, I think, enough lead time that the open house was on there. So I'm the queen of corny slogans. So there's that. But I did door knocking of that neighborhood just before. So what I did was we got plastic sleeves, and in there, Kristen made this beautiful flyer, which I greatly lack those skills to this day. But I went and got from the Utz factory, all these little Utz chip bags. And so I knocked on the door. I'm like, hi, I'm Mindy. I'm the realtor. Do you know anyone that you would like to call neighbor? I'm having an open house. You're welcome to come down, blah, blah. It was amazing how many people just opened the door. So my flyer said, won't you chip in and help us find a new neighbor? Dun, dun, dun. People love that.
That's
I mean, it
really
was like
good.
a 50-cent bag of chips.
Yes.
And yeah,
And then did you
Kristen
knock on
was-
the door for everyone and
Mhm.
hand it to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
there were so many people that were like, come on in. I'm like, no, I'm gonna stay right here.
Yep.
This was pre-COVID, obviously, but
That could have turned in like an hour into like a 4-hour event.
yeah, but I was, then the security side of Mindy is like, oh my God, you're a female, you're home with 2 kids running around, and you just want to invite crazy Mindy into your house. It's got this corny, but
Yeah.
I appreciated it. And yes, we did sell that house pretty quickly.
Did you get any other leads?
No, but neighbors came down because I invited them, and they had friends that were looking, but they had agents. And so when people come in, they have agents. I always follow up with those agents. But that's my corny cheesy for the day.
Okay, so we are going to evaluate how much time each day, month and year you devote to prospecting.
Just go right to the bottom. question.
Yeah.
How much money do you spend daily, weekly, monthly, a year on marketing? So if you want to just take a couple minutes and write this down, and then we'll
No idea.
all share the ugly truth.
Do you need a pen?
Nope, I'll just use- Okay, does anybody want to share?
I'm embarrassed to say I have no idea about the amount of money I spend on marketing until I would like pull out.
Do your taxes, manager.
Yeah, yeah, like I really have no
Yeah.
idea. That's one of the things I'm really starting to do, is track like my P and L at Keller Williams. Like I never ever paid attention to that before.
I had a maps coach for a while that really got me focused on where I was spending my money versus the return and numbers and tracking. And that really helped. What I realized is I had nothing set up that I was doing strategically or any processes when it came. Like maybe one house, I would send a just listed or just sold card that I didn't for like 10. You know, I mean, there was no process. And I had no idea what I was getting back from what I was doing. And quite honestly, I didn't even know how much money I was spending until I added up my receipts at the end of the year. And then I couldn't even tell you what that receipt was, what property that was around. I just didn't know what I was doing, quite frankly. So I'm a little embarrassed as well to say that. I just don't know.
Yeah.
As far
I'm
as
working on
time
it, yeah.
when prospecting, if I was to be completely honest, like completely honest on an average, I would probably say maybe 2 hours a week. And I write a lot of handwritten cards, a lot of handwritten cards. Because that's one of the things that I'm like, it's personable and it's a little bit easier than making the phone call. So it's less phone calls than anything else. So I think I have room to improve here as well. Anybody else? Does anybody do like 3 hours of lead generation a day? Like, does anybody have a proven track record with it? Anybody in the chat? Nobody's chatting?
No.
Nobody's chatting.
Does anybody know any agents in the Keller Williams umbrella that does solid lead generation,
Jeremy does.
like through marketing or prospecting?
He's on the phone from, I think his hours are like 9 to 11:30. He's on the phone just doing nothing but calling people. And that's not even his spear. He talks to his spear in the afternoon. In the
Okay.
morning, it's all his FISBOs and Zillow leads and like,
Okay,
but he's a solid rainmaker, like definitely.
he should have been teaching this.
I think he's
We should all
teaching
talk to him.
the one on FISBOs. I think I talked him
Okay.
into teaching that one.
Okay,
But he really like, and that's how he grew his business and that's what he gets his, and then from that, he's been able to build like a pretty awesome team. But he's the only one who I've witnessed consistently do it. I'm like hot and cold, like I'll be really good for like 2 weeks and then I get busy with the business that I generated and then I fall off the wagon. But I don't fall off for like 2 weeks, I fall off for like 8.
Right, to do the business.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
and
kind of like,
So I need to work, I
Yeah.
need to work on my consistency.
right, yeah.
When I say I was grounded because of COVID, I did lead generate definitely an hour every single day. Like I would block an hour for myself and that was when my kids were all online with their teachers and I would have that hour. And then like throughout the day, I followed up with text messages and stuff. But I was grounded, like I was home.
Yeah.
It almost became my escape from school.
Yeah. I understand that. So one thing I learned through Bold and through when I was working with my coach and if you read through the materials and you implement just 25% on a consistent basis, you don't have to do everything, but just do something consistently, you will see results. And I know that's why I keep taking Bold, because it gets me back into doing it again. And then I'd say I stick with it for a certain amount of months and then it kind of starts to trail off. But if you just do the activities, the pipeline fills. And when I had a coach, I had a coach for about 6 months. And I had to answer to her every week. So if some type of accountability partner, and I did what she told me to do because I knew I was gonna have to give her my numbers and my tracking, and it was amazing because my whiteboard was solid, and it had, I knew 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. And now if I go look at my whiteboard, I don't have, like, I don't know what I have, you know what I mean? I don't, and that's another thing, writing it down somewhere. That's probably if I could say something to the newer people is, when you're not busy and you're new, you will remember the leads because you don't have a lot to remember. Creating the habit of getting them in some type of system is paramount to start when you're new. Because once you start to get busy and you forget. And then that's just the.
And then you never go back.
And you never go back. And including writing them down, take the notes of how you met them, you know, like.
Yeah,
Because
don't rely on your memory, because you'll be like,
cannot
oh,
rely-
of course, I'll
I will
remember
tell
where I
you,
met
you cannot
Aaron.
rely on your memory.
Who the hell is Aaron? Like in my phone, I'm like,
Yes.
Aaron who?
Yes.
You know, because
Yeah.
like, that's all I put.
I put lot, I
Yeah,
put lot, Dillsburg lot.
yeah. And you're like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, during the fold, one of the things we had to do
Yeah.
was pick somebody in your, this is not this fold, this fold was a little. This most recent bowl was not quite as intense as the previous bowl I took, the last bowl I took in person. He made us, I mean, I guess you didn't have to do it if you wanted to, but I did it. Find somebody in your phone that you had no idea who they were,
Call
which was really easy. Right, it was really easy for me because at the time I wasn't putting in the notes in my phone. I called another agent that I did a transaction with, and I didn't even know they were an agent, and I was.
Say, hey, come to our open house.
I do that now, like, so I'll put Nicole Agent, like that's your
Yes.
full name is Nicole Agent. I
Yeah.
may not know your real name
Yeah.
because I've been burned on that one
Yes.
before, so.
I've tried to put what brokerage they're with.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you can't keep up with that either.
Nicole, I did that same thing and it ended up being a young woman who took karate with my kids, but I called her and she answered. And I was like, Hannah, I'm just trying to figure out how we know each other. And she was like, I don't know. Well, I'm from Shrewsbury. I used to work at the Mason-Dixon restaurant. Maybe I was your server. And then she kept on talking and I was like, no, your voice is way too familiar. And then she was like, well, I also took karate. And I was like, you were a black belt and you took karate with Connor. And she was like, oh my God, you're Connor's mom. I was like,
And then you were like on your phone going, okay, put in all this data.
Connor's
right now.
mom, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
exactly.
explain why you were calling?
Yeah, I
During
did.
fold?
Yeah, I was like, I have
Yep.
your numbers in my phone and she was in my phone because I mean, she was babysitting at the time.
Okay.
And so like, it was one of those times when we were taking Connor somewhere. I needed somebody for the younger two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Babysitter.
Yeah, any way you can fill in that data
Yes.
is
Well,
good.
I knew her for like
Sticky
6
notes. Like
years.
I'll just write down someone's name
Yeah,
and a phone number, and then I'm like, what in the hell? And then I'm white pages, reverse searching, you know,
Yeah.
kinds of.
That's a time sucker too. I find
Yeah.
myself doing that all the time. Or on Facebook looking for somebody.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's like.
Yep,
Right
that
down
is
the
a
rabbit
time.
hole.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
try
a
to be
time sucker.
organized.
yeah, so I've gotten much better
I'm
at
getting better
you
on
know,
my phone too, because
putting that all in.
when my husband and I got new phones at one point, somehow we integrated all of our contacts together. So I got all of my husband's contacts.
Oh, that would be scary.
And I had I didn't know if they were clients. So I actually put in the notes, I will put in like what property I sold them. Like I'm getting that because I learned in a hard way, like I had people in my phone, I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were people that I worked with, I didn't know if like anything.
Mhm.
So, one thing I did do, and I had a lot listed in Dillsburg this was 3 or 4 years ago. Somebody called me about that lot and I put their name in as Dillsburg lot. Okay. They purchased that lot, not through me, they had an agent, but they had called me to get information of first. They didn't follow the rules and they didn't give it to their agent first. They ended up buying that lot. So I had their phone or number in Dillsburg lot for years. I get a phone call December of last year from Dillsburg Lot. Hi Dillsburg Lot, how you doing?
Yeah, because you're like, I
He's,
don't know.
hey, Nicole, we were gonna build, but we ended up starting a business and we need to offload this lot now. And we enjoyed our conversation with you so much, and our agent moved to Florida. Would you list it for us?
You were like, yeah, if I could know
I'm
your
like,
name.
"Yes, Dillsburg Lot, I will."
What is your name?
So,
Let me look that up in the tax records. Real quick. Can you remind me what street that lot was?
do not answer this phone call.
Yeah,
me too.
But mine is an agent. Mine's an agent.
Recruiter, salespeople.
Mine's an
Yeah.
agent. He creeps
Yeah.
me out. I will not ever do a transaction with that individual. And when it comes up on my phone, I let it go voicemail and then I delete it and I don't even read it. Because he just gives me the
No, I'm
willies.
fascinated.
Okay, so we're going to go into another myth and truth about prospecting. Prospecting equals cold calling, which equals rejection. That's a myth. The truth is, prospecting equals meeting people and building purposeful relationships equals a strong real estate business. Gene Rivers said you can be the brightest, smartest, most well-educated real estate person there is, but if nobody calls you, it just doesn't matter. And I would tend to agree with that. One of the things that I wrote down in my notes when it comes to prospecting and calling, and even when we get back a little bit farther about joining groups and being around people, one of the things that helps build confidence is have something to say, like know what you're gonna say. If somebody comes up to you and asks you, hey, how's the real estate market? Like have something to say other than it's good, or it's busy, or it's interesting.
Moving.
Like have some fact that, housing values have increased 20% year over year, or, regardless of it, increasing interest rates, people are still buying and selling. Like have something that you can say other than it's good, it's great, or I'm busy. You don't want to tell people you're busy because they're gonna think you're too busy, you don't want to work with them. So I've always kind of like tried to have something in my mind prepared to say, especially when you're calling people, but even just like when you're out and about around people, like have something that you're gonna talk to somebody about. Okay, myth number 2. Prospecting means contacting people you don't know. The truth is prospecting means contacting people you know, as well as those that you don't know. Does anybody have anything to add about, contacting somebody that they didn't know that it ended up turning into like a viable lead sale relationship? Tissue. Anyone? Thank you.
Thought I had one in there. So this was kind of an accident. But it was also because I had just taken Bold and they were like, just tell everybody you meet that you're a real estate agent. So, Bob, I'm sorry, this is a kind of a girl story, but you don't have to plug your ears. I just wanted to warn you ahead of time. It was Christmas Day and we had done like the whole Christmas thing. We were just having it was just our family. So we were having a pajama day and I didn't have a dog at the time, but I just went for a walk just to get some fresh air and escape like the noise of Christmas and whatnot. As my husband was destroying my kitchen. It was fine. It was great. It was Christmas.
I see a trend here.
Yeah.
So I'm literally in my pajamas, no bra on, threw my winter coat on, I was drinking my morning coffee. I don't even know if I had brushed my teeth at this point. And somebody was driving on our street and they stopped and they said, hey, we were looking for this lot that was for sale. Do you know anything about it? And I was like, oh yeah, it's landlocked. And they were like, what do you mean? And so I was telling them about that. They're like, well, we want to move to the area. Do you know any good real estate agents? Okay, I don't have an ounce of makeup on. My hair is like all of God knows where, like, and
But
I
you had a
thought,
hat on, so that was good.
I thought to myself, I don't want to tell you that I'm a real estate agent because this is not my normal professional look. But I did, and they ended up being clients of mine. I actually met with them again yesterday because the house that I sold them, they're gonna get ready to sell as they move closer to grandchildren. But that conversation ended up being, they became my buyers. Their son listed and bought with me. He referred business that was a listing and bought, and then they're selling again. So that no makeup, not sure if I brushed my teeth, no bra on, turned into 6 sales.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's crazy.
One of
So that was talking to people I didn't know, but
Yeah.
still like not being afraid of, you know, like
Right.
having to be
understand.
perfect to say you're a real estate.
There are days where I've driven my son to school in my room.
Yeah. Oh my God, please don't make me get out of the
Please
car.
don't let anybody come up to this window when I'm dropping him off. Anybody else have any stories of,
Kathy and I went to, Kathy likes to sew, so she wanted to get a new sewing machine. So we went to Hanover to Danner's Bernina shop.
Mhm.
Well, we bought this, I bought her a sewing machine for her birthday. So we're talking to the son. We just started talking, I just through conversation, I told him I was a real estate agent. He said, oh, I'm thinking about buying something. This was last year. So we just settled last week or 2 weeks ago on a property. He never wanted to sign a buyer's agreement until I took him to an auction. There was a property coming up for auction. So I said, look, if I'm going to be representing you, I need you to sign this.
yeah,
So a few weeks after that, he sent me another listing. Hey, I'm interested in this. And here it was directly off of Bright.
Yeah.
And another customer of his was a real estate agent. So it's like, okay, are you working with her? No, I never signed anything. She's just a customer. And he was concerned. So I called her direct, or she called me and said, hey, would you be willing to split this? Well, wait a minute, I've been working with, I said, well, I would, and I talked to some people in here about how should I handle this? I was willing to give her, because she gave him the listing or told him what it was available. That one fell through, but I built up this relationship with him and then we had the settlement, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it just, yeah, you're just out talking to people. You just,
yep. Always answer your phone, like always answer your phone. Always call people back.
Mhm.
You never know who is calling you, how they got their phone number, If you get a sign lead, get them talking. Try not to do all the talking yourself, try to get them talking. Get as much information, if you're driving, pull over, take notes, because you will forget. You will say, I'm not going to forget to store this phone number, and you are going to forget to store this phone number. And then you're gonna have to go back and try to
Reverse my
piecemeal
pages.
it together. Okay, so another myth is prospecting is what you do to launch your business. Only new agents have to prospect. Truth is, prospecting is what you do to keep your real estate business running and growing. You should never stop prospecting. And that is the truth. I mean, I think we all have had the highs and lows where you start to feel that pipeline drying up and all of a sudden you're like, ring, ring. Okay. I thought these were some interesting facts, and this was put out in 2015. So the statistics are probably for a year before. It says the National Association of Realtors profiled home buyers and sellers. Only 22% of sellers and 12% of buyers already have an agent they will use. That means there's plenty of business for you to go after. This is what really gets interesting. Okay. If we go to, do you guys have this? On page 25, okay.
Yep.
How people choose an agent. Use the agent who contacted them. For buyers and sellers, it's each 4%. Use the agent referred to them by a friend, relative, or neighbor. 40% for buyers, 38% for sellers. And this is the interest, this is the one that just gets me. Use the same agent they used before, 12% for buyers and 22% for sellers. That's kind of scary because we always think that our clients are our clients forever, but in truth, we can't remember people's names and they can't remember our names either. I mean, they don't remember. Okay, how people choose you based on your prospecting. Your haven't met. You contact people you don't know. For buyers and sellers, they'll choose you 4% of the time. Met, people you know, and people that you contact people you know and ask them for them to refer you. 40% for buyers, 38% for sellers.
What freaks me out about that is when you add that together, that's still only 50%.
I know.
You know, you're like,
I
damn it.
know.
Like, really? Like, you know me, you know I'm honest, like you've said, Bob, you know, I'm honest, I'm trustworthy, I've got like the Boy Scout pledge thing going on. Like, you see me like all the time doing X, Y, and Z in whatever capacity I know you. And really, it's only 50% of the
Yeah.
time. Like, to me, that's the scary part.
That is the scary part.
You know, because like you said, you think that once they're in your database and you've sent them Christmas cards for the last however many years, that they're,
Calendars.
you know, they're yours.
Has
You know?
anybody gone to a listing appointment and you see 5 agents' calendars?
Yeah.
One of them being yours and 5 other agents on their refrigerator? Or you've gone to show a house and there's a calendar hanging on somewhere in their house and it's not the agent who actually has the house listed?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It just shows that sometimes marketing, you're spending this money. And if you're not staying in front of them and making the phone calls, like it's wasted money.
And you're in front of them at their best of times, they're coming for
Yes.
food.
Yes.
Didn't want
And those
to.
calendars, I don't know who all sends them, they're not, like,
They're not
you have to
cheap.
put them together, they're not cheap, you gotta spend the time to put them together.
Yeah.
Unless you have
I remember when I
something.
first moved to KW, because I moved here in the fall. So, you know, that first 6 months, obviously from my previous team, like my picture was still on the calendars that we had sent out and everything. And I remember going to one of my clients' houses in January, February, and I was getting ready to list it. So, you know, it said Remax and it had my picture on the refrigerator, but there were also 3 other faces on that calendar. And I was like, well, we need to take this down while we're taking photos. And they were like, well, it's you. And I'm like, yeah, because you don't understand. That's not the company I work with, you know? So like, it was fascinating to me because even though the phone number's on there, the name, everything was something totally different. They contacted me because they wanted to work with me, but they didn't see the disconnect there. And so like every time I'd go over to the house, I'd like take the calendar off and like put it underneath the microwave, you know, I'm like, stop putting this
You
calendar
get a
on.
new calendar.
But it was, you know, interesting because they just.
They didn't-
At least they called you
Yeah, yeah,
and didn't have your calendar hanging there and called.
the other 3 people on
Yeah.
the card, yeah.
Okay, so the benefits of prospecting. The 5 benefits of prospecting are, it's inexpensive and it yields immediate results. Puts you in control of filling your pipeline of leads, increases your confidence and skill, yields quality leads, which yield quality leads, keeps you in direct contact with the market and protects against market shifts. I think we're going into a shift.
You can feel it.
We're in it.
We're in it.
Mhm,
Yeah, I think
mhm.
we're definitely starting to feel it. I think in the next couple months are gonna be interesting, and I think now's the time we really need to dig in and make the phone calls.
Yep, this gal that I was talking about earlier, I just pulled her information because I called her this morning. And when I met with her in the very, very beginning of May, days on market for her type of home was 3 to 5. I just pulled it now. One of the houses was on the market 48 days. One was 13 that settled and the other 2 were in their 30s. So I'm like, oh, because you know, it's a higher end
Yeah.
house. And I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh.
You know what dawned on me is most agents And we have a lot of newer agents that weren't licensed, like I forget what the number was, but
They've never
weren't licensed
experienced.
prior to 2019. They have no idea what an expired is.
Yeah.
Or
A price reduction,
price reduction.
talking through a price reduction with your seller.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When I first started, one of the things that Rick Smith always told me was know your days on market, know your days on market. And because I was on his team and he was, always
Yeah.
selling low, so that, his days on market were really good. 57 sticks in my head. So like 57 days on market, and that was a bragging point
Yeah,
because we were less than, a 6 month.
yeah.
We were less than 6 months because some agents were like taking that whole 6 months. So I just remember, being very proud at saying, our days on market on our team are 57 days,
Yeah,
and
it's like, it was 57 minutes.
yeah, and now, like if you told some, like at one of the newer agents, because I remember the script, I remember like that was the first thing out of your mouth, he said, it's, we get full price or, 99%, because of course he lists them way low. But our days on market is 50, and he was like, stand up and be proud of that. And I was like, okay, because I didn't know any different. And now I'm thinking, holy crap, 57 days on market.
Yes.
A world.
Going
difference.
into this shift, and prospecting, I think it's so important right now to go 110% with every sale and really work on that referral and ask for, from at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end, ask for the, oh my gosh, guys, what do they do when they review? Review and referral all the way through, because listings were hard before, they're gonna get harder now. And I also think having really, really good agent to agent conversations and relationships is gonna, and with your title companies, your lenders, the agents, going into this kind of a shift, I think that's gonna be really important, really important. Okay, so I want to get to some actual tactical skills here.
Nicole, while you're getting that ready, I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna leave in about 5 minutes to go
Okay.
meet with my coach. That hasn't-
Oh, are you doing math coach? Through, like the one where it's a group, or is it the
Individual.
one-on-one individual? Good for you. Who's your coach?
Anna Swanson.
Okay. I miss my coach because it kept me so,
Yeah. Well, we're just getting started and she's
oh,
hounding me about my numbers.
you spend probably a solid month just trying to get your
Yeah.
numbers to where that you're supposed to know them.
Yeah.
That they can really start to help you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get to 3 steps of prospecting. Approach, connect, ask. So it's approach when you call, you visit, or you host an event, and then you're asking for business. I think a lot of this, and it goes into this a little bit, and if you read through some of the comments of the agents who lend in this, mindset is probably 90% is to have the right mindset. Your value proposition, I almost think of that as almost like an affirmation that you should be telling yourself every day to get started. Like this is you, people want to talk to you, you have something to offer, and you're gonna go out there and make the phone calls. Okay, so you want to be proactive, you don't want to wait for people to come to you. Be willing to break the ice. Be friendly, caring, most importantly, be real. Be curious about them and ask their concerns. I always say when you get somebody on the phone, if the lead comes in, try to get them talking. Like try to just ask open-ended questions and get them to tell you why they're calling you and what they want. Because if you start saying, are you pre-approved? I mean, that's, yeah. If somebody's calling you and say, hey, I see you, I'm sitting in front of 123 Main Street, what's the sale, what's this listed for? Even if you know how much it's listed for, I always try to say, oh, let me open up my computer. Are you looking specifically in this area? Try to get them to start talking to you and get them to tell you why, they're looking at this house and what they're kind of looking for. And I always lead into, have you looked at other houses? Because that's kind of a giveaway if they have an agent. You know, have you toured any homes?
Yeah.
You know, okay, be confident in your pace and posture, and I think that comes with just starting and getting a little bit of experience under your belt with conversations. And again, I say make those easy phone calls and those easy contacts first to give you some confidence. And be ready to connect, even if we're in our robes and we have no makeup on and we're driving our kids to school. Okay,
Yeah, don't be afraid to sell them.
there's some role playing here.
Being real. Caring,
Yes,
friendly.
be real is most important. Is anybody familiar with Ford? I think anybody's taken bold is knows Ford. Lead into Ford. I have it written down here. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. My experience is most people love to talk about their family. If you can get them talking about their family, and just listen, and they'll keep on going, you know, we're having a baby, we need to get a 3-bed, you know, sell this 2-bedroom, get a 3-bedroom, and just let them keep going. Okay. Here is some role playing, and I always kind of take what they put in here and try to put it in your own words. Hi, my name is Nicole Yeingst. I know we see each other every day and now again driving around. We see each other every now and again driving around the neighborhood. I would probably say, hey, my name is Nicole. I see you dropping your kids off at school every day. You know, something like that. Hi, I couldn't help notice you're reading that great book. Are you enjoying it? Or after a mailing, hi, this is Nicole, hi, so-and-so. This is Nicole Yeingst with Keller Williams Keystone. I'll just take a moment of your time. Did you receive the market analysis that I sent you? Has anybody ever used these scripts and have good results? Like a script similar to this, or scripts? Does anybody use scripts? Are they? Do you use scripts, Erin?
I have in the past, but I haven't in a while. Though actually the one from Bold that worked best for me was, hi, I'm taking this class called Bold, and the agent who gets 10 referrals the fastest wins this great prize. Do you have anybody that you could refer me to for business? And I need their name and their number, you know, in order for it to count, and I have to actually call them, like, you know, so that people weren't surprised when I did call their referrals. But that did bring me the most referral business.
I'm more comfortable with using Ford.
What does the D stand for? I can't remember.
Dreams.
Dreams. Yep.
Yeah.
And R?
Recreation.
Recreation, family, occupation,
Recreation.
family, occupation, recreation, dreams.
And I think phone calls, like right before holiday are the easiest to make. So that's kind of been on my list of things to do this week is just call and say, hey, 4th of July is coming up, what y'all doing, blah, blah, blah. Just want to let you know I was thinking about you, you know, be safe, don't block your fingers.
We're gonna
You know,
talking
just
about-
something kind of cute and fun
Has
and like,
anybody ever handed out flags?
I have many, many years because I was a
Yes.
Berkshire agent when they were Prudential,
Yeah.
when they were Coldwell
And it
Banker.
really missed me that they're too short and the flag touches the ground, which is 100% disrespectful, but
Yeah.
that's just a military kid I am.
I know, I
Yeah.
have that problem too.
Yeah, so I'm doing flags on Friday because I'm still, you know, yeah.
Flags on Friday.
Flags on Friday, yeah. Yep, so I'm doing my flags on Friday.
Yeah.
I used to do like 100, but that just got to be way too much. And one year several years I did my whole neighborhood, but that got to be too expensive. So now I'm just doing it till like my top 20 clients.
At one point in time, Kristen and I were trying to collect who in my client base was a veteran, and then I was gonna mail to them a new flag each year, like a big flag.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel it now.
That's something you can kind of track in hand, because you can make a tag veteran VA alone, so, you know,
Yeah.
do a tag in there, you can kind of pull it up real quick and see.
Yeah.
Just putting a plug in there for command, everybody.
Have fun, Erin.
Okay, let's get into some tactical ways that we can prospect here. Call, visit, attend, or host events. I think when most people think of prospecting, the calling part is the scariest. You can, I'm on page 41. You can visit, which is like when you do a pop-by visit, something like that. I love doing those. Now, that does take your time, and it does take a little bit of your money. But if you can go onto Pinterest, you can Google, you can find some really cute things. Again, most people love when if they have children, like something for their kids, like, and you can go to the dollar store and really get something so.
Are you guys all part of the Popeye Facebook group?
No.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it
Okay.
is, but there's cool stuff in there all the time.
That's the one thing that I truly, truly miss about my Buffini membership or the Popeye tags. Because, you just go, say you want 4th of July holiday, 10 different designs, pick up, you put the labels in, you print them, and in 60 seconds, you're out the door.
Do you use
Popeye
Canva
ideas
at all?
and
No, and I don't feel like I have the energy to learn
Popeye
that.
ideas and referrals. Let me see, I can invite you guys.
Yeah, that would be
Let me
awesome.
be social.
There's a business there, somebody to.
That's what I just
There's a
wanna
business.
make enough money so I can just make stuff for
Yes.
people, because that's marketing's my background, not design, but.
So I go in Dillsburg, they have the Chris Kindle mark, I'm not even saying it right, the Dill Tavern every year, and there's a lady in there who does like. Where's that machine where you print the stuff out, Cricut?
Yeah.
And she always has all these like perfect, like little dog bags, and I buy those every year, and they're pretty inexpensive, and that's what I use for like, to give to clients for like that season.
That's, I met a lot of the vendors out here during
Yeah.
the open house, and so I'm gonna use some of that
Good.
too.
So
So,
send it to me.
I think
please.
calling,
Send you an invite.
we always have to have our business start with calling. We really got to get to ourselves making the phone calls, even if you're doing, I know we're supposed to be doing 3 hours a day, but if you can convince yourself to make 2 phone calls a day, you are gonna be better than making no phone calls a day.
I had written down, I'm going to commit to 1 hour a day, Monday through Friday. That's 5 hours better than I was.
And my
Yeah.
maps coach, now, I had to make phone calls, but one of the things that we work out is I could send 28 handwritten notes a week to get rid of some of my phone calls that I was supposed to make. And I do that. I write handwritten notes like it's my job. I have some here that when on my way home that I'll be dropping off at the post office. I think it's still personal. It does cost you a little bit of money, but you can go on Amazon and find great note cards, things like that. One of the things I do, if I get a referral, and probably a lot of people do this, I don't care if they get a card as soon as the referral comes to me. And it has usually a $10 gift card to either Starbucks. When that deal closes, they get another card from me thanking them.
It's the behavior you're rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not the outcome.
Okay, visiting, we kind of talked about this, the pies, people do that, I've seen like the gift wrap where something like the tag says something like it's a wrap, thank you for your business this year, and you drop, there's all kinds of things you can do.
Wait till you see this Facebook group.
Okay, I'll have to go into it.
I have to stop looking at it because I just want to do all of it.
Oh,
And I
that's
think
my problem.
my thing is I've got people in Franklin County, upper York
Yes.
County, Southern Adams County. I can't drive to all these places, so I'm thinking of just doing the mailings.
Yeah.
What I tend to do is I tend to do it thematically and like regionally, like what I'm kind of feeling in the mood for, and then go to that space, like I'll do something but I'll go upper northern York County.
Yes.
Or I'll feel like, I really want to do something and I'll go Hanover area and I'll
Yeah.
hit everybody. And that's another thing that I miss about my Buffini is that, their website, you could put your location and it would pop up and it would show your A's, your B's and your C's. And like you could map it
Why
like
can't
within
Command do that?
5 seconds.
You can make
You know.
tags. I mean, you don't have to be
Yeah.
hitting every client for every,
Yeah.
But it was
Top
so
five.
great because you could be like, I remember somebody bought a house and I got to deliver a baby gift. Now, wasn't there somebody else over there? And then it would be like, oh, in 2 miles is client blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
And you're
that's
like,
I think you
pretty
can
cool.
make your own Google map. Like,
What-
you
I don't know how to
like,
do that,
she
but that
knows
was
how to
always
do it.
great
Megan knows
for,
everything
like-
about Google.
because then I wouldn't feel like I'd have to drive from Dillsburg to Delta
Yeah.
to Dover to Dallastown.
you could
But I
say
do it like regional.
Adams County for spring. I'm gonna drop by my clients in Adams County and I'm going to give them or mail them
Right.
a seed packet with a little card, like,
Right.
talking about spring. And then you can set this up in a smart plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can do 4th of July for your veterans, or, you don't have to do,
You have to be
you
all
can't
things
afford to do every
everybody,
client
yeah.
for every single thing.
Right.
I always do a back to school, lean into Facebook. Don't just be using Facebook as to scroll by. You can go in and look at the birthdays. You can see the birthdays like a week ahead. Drop a card in the mail
Mhm.
or put it in your calendar to give them a phone call, or just say happy birthday.
Yeah, I forget what
On
class
Facebook.
I was in, but somebody went at the beginning of the month and saw all their friends whose birthdays were that month. And he would just do it at the beginning, he would just do it at the beginning of the month and say, hey, I want to be the first one. I know your birthday's not for a while, but I want to be the first one to wish you a happy birthday. And people remember
Yeah,
like that.
you can use Canva. You probably do this all the time. I'm just trying to get a little bit better, but you can go in like on a Sunday, look at the birthdays, plan posts, and put them on your calendar to release on the days of their birthday.
See, I didn't learn or do any of this because I have great Kristen.
Anybody that has,
The-
it gets married, you'll see it on Facebook, send them a card, send them a gift. Gets pregnant, has a baby, all of these things, just lean in to that. That's a really good touch. I think it's prospecting.
Mhm.
I would say it's prospecting, and for me, it's a softer way to prospect.
Mhm.
Okay. Calling. When you're getting ready to set up your day for calling, you gotta know who you're gonna call. Put it on your calendar. Okay, we're gonna call expired listings. What are those? They're gonna come back, guys. You can say, I'm going to call for sale by owners, and that day, it might be you going on to Zillow looking for sale by owners, or driving around, or Facebook Marketplace, and you can call for sale by owners. I know there's people that have literally built their business on expired listings and for sale by owners. Referrals, I tend to stay in touch with the people heavily that have referred me business,
Mhm.
because they didn't forget you, and you are top of mind. IVR inquiries are the automated, like somebody can call you all the time, and that's just following up with leads. Website inquiries, I love when I get those, because I'm like, oh my gosh, look, somebody went to my website. And then the Keller Williams way is to put people in an 8x8 or a 33 touch program, and you can go into command and set those right up in command. I have never done the 33 touch. I have set up the 8x8. So
Okay. And I think there's libraries, there's a
There is.
library and they're already established. so
if
can
you
just-
really spend time looking into command, you can find a smart plan for almost anything that you want to do and set it up and automate it.
I need to do more of that.
Okay.
It's like none of this is brand new. None of this is rocket science. It's just like the reminder to get your
Yes.
butt to
It's
do
like
it.
they say all the time, there's no magic pill.
Yeah.
Just have to get
Yeah,
back to basics.
again, lead into
Yeah.
like social media. If you see somebody asking for like a plumber or a roofer, that's a phone call. Like if there's somebody that you know, or a past client, God forbid, they should be calling you. Like you should be the resource to the resource.
Right.
So if I see somebody, if you see like we have Dillsburg helping each other or any of those sites, when they're asking, I always refer somebody. Because you want to be the person that they think about when they're trying to get this information.
Forget what class it was, but they said when you're having a conversation with somebody who's a contractor or some in business of some sort, you ask them, so tell me, when I'm talking to my clients, how can I get you business?
Yeah.
Because then that gets them
Yeah.
talking about themselves,
Yeah,
and then
right.
conversely, they should
Yeah.
say, yeah, I'm gonna keep you in mind.
Yep.
I think you mentioned that in the bowl, the last bowl class that we were talking about.
Has anybody ever gotten a lead from a contractor builder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
His son.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody's
Then I
coming in
came
to
up
work
with a
on your
list of
house,
things that
they
needed
should
to be
know what you do.
Dad's like, hey.
Yeah. Okay. Oops. When you're calling people, you wanna know who you're gonna call. You wanna know, are they a cold lead versus a warm lead versus a hot? I would say a cold lead is somebody it comes up in your CRM or whatever you're using, you're just calling them. A warm lead is somebody that you probably have met, that you have contact with. A hot lead, if you see somebody again on social media that's talking about real estate, you gotta figure out how to get in contact with them. And I would say that's a hot lead. Okay, do not call. I know we all know what the do not call list is. We have to observe that. And if somebody asks you not to call them, then do not call them again.
I mean, the do not call list, don't we have doesn't the office or somebody, I mean, isn't there a way to look for the do not call list?
There's a website.
Okay, then don't you have to have some sort of sign on or code or something? Because
I have never done it. This is what I can tell you. If you call somebody and they say, I'm on the do not call list, do not call, like, take them
I'll just delete it. from
out of
my phone.
everything.
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
just delete it from my phone.
I don't know what can happen to you if you call people on the do not call list, but I don't want to find out either.
If they turn you in, I know there's a fine,
There's
but I
fine.
Yeah.
think there's like a hassle for them to like go through to do that. And then you say, Mom, it's me. I know you're on the do not call list, but it's me.
Okay, so when you're getting ready to call, you need to know who you're gonna call, you need to know what you're gonna say, and there are scripts, and you can look up scripts on the Keller Williams page, and they're also in here. You ever taken bold? Not this past bold, it didn't have pages of scripts, but I had my bold for the in person in 2019. And they had pages and pages and pages of scripts. And I would just,
And you can
Tweak
still look
them?
up, Howard Brinton's dead, but you can
Yes.
still go, Star Power.
It's
and-
back. Star Power is being revived.
Is it? And you can like go back and you can, realtor scripts, you can Google that, you can find lots and lots of scripts out there.
there's books you can read on sales, learning the language of sales and things like that. That's all with making you confident. And then get ready to call. So if you're working in the office, you want to kind of close your door and get yourself ready to call. We've all heard this before. If you're at home, you gotta, get your kids away from you for a little bit. Okay, I think we all know like what we're supposed to do to get ourselves up for calling. Okay, visiting. This is when you're dropping by people. You also want to know kind of what you're gonna say when you're going to visit. Sometimes I'm like when I do the pies, it is literally, I have 10 pies to deliver for the next hour, so I'm in and out. Other times I try to have conversation pieces that I want to talk about, but if you drop something off with them, I recommend having a follow-up call. Like if you drop off a pie, call after Thanksgiving and say, hey, how was your Thanksgiving? Did you enjoy that pie? Something like that. Give a reason to kind of follow up with them afterwards.
Also in the summer, if you're creeping around, dropping things off at doors and they're not home, I always just shoot a text because it didn't dawn on me until one time I saw a little kid feeling like that who was home by themselves. And I thought, please don't get
Yeah.
arrested.
Yeah.
Please.
I actually did that when I did pies this year. I think I'm to the point now where I gotta have people start to come to me for the pies because it's getting too many. You only have like 2 days to deliver pies, right? And I was literally driving like again, all over 3 counties. And I was literally just putting the pie on their porch and texting as I was leaving the driveway, hey,
Or I'll
have a
shoot
great
a picture
Thanksgiving,
and send it.
yes. Because I just had so many. Know who to visit. Has anybody ever gone to a for sale by owner and knocked on the door and asked them? Or called them? No, okay, me either.
I have.
You have? And how,
I've called 2 for sale by owners. One of them, I got a listing.
that's awesome.
Unfortunately, we couldn't sell it.
Oh,
Actually, and I even had to do a price reduction. So
wow, what's that?
that was, yeah, they were just set in a price that they wanted and,
Mhm. Nothing was gonna,
yeah. The other one was a for sale by owner. I called and I called them because I had a client or have a client and I said, I'd like to find some information out about your property. I have somebody that might be interested. And right away they said, they're going to have to pay your commission. So, okay, it's something we can work out and
Yeah.
and then it just went downhill from there. A few weeks later, I saw the property was listed with another realtor. And they sold it for more than what these people were asking for. So they essentially
yeah.
bumped the price up,
Yeah,
and I tried to get them, I tried to talk to the person, hey, if it doesn't work out for my client, is there something I can do for you? Things like that. She was
Yeah.
just totally shut down.
you didn't catch her at the right time.
Yeah.
And that is another thing, it's a timing thing. You can't do something one time and say, okay, it didn't work. Because it really is a timing.
A couple of times I even tried to say, well, okay, thank you for your time. And she kept on talking.
Yeah.
Just like, okay. Yeah.
So expired listing, FISBOs, residents of a geographic farm. I think you probably have farm, still farm ever. Yeah, I have a couple neighborhoods that I do. I probably don't do it as consistent as I should. Apartment dwellers. I think this is an overlooked group of people. Maybe somebody has tapped into this. I have rentals and I have sold my tenants' houses. So if I only have a few rentals and I'm selling my tenants' houses, what about like actually farming to rentals? Go in and try to find people that are specifically renters.
Yeah, no, you can't door knock in
No.
apartment complexes.
No.
They don't have that no soliciting.
Yep. You can send them a card. You can go into tax records and see if the house is not occupied by the owner. And send to that person. Homeowners around an open house. You had talked about doing this. I did this. I had an open house in the neighborhood. And I copied this from somebody else. I forget where, I don't even know where I heard it, but I went and door knocked and said, there's gonna be an open house this weekend. I know I see you have bikes and things in your front yard. There's gonna be traffic coming through the neighborhood. You might want to, keep an eye on your kids. Just wanna let you know, there's gonna be an open house. There's probably gonna be a lot of traffic coming through the neighborhood. Would you like to stop by the open house? Something like
When I
that.
first started, I was required to go to 10 properties on each side of the open house and the 20 across the street and door knock to invite them to the open house on the weekend.
Now, do you still do that? Like, did it stick with you? Okay.
I did it for, 5 years when I
Yeah.
was on Rick's team because I was required to. So for those 5.5 years, I did it. But 3 open houses a week for 5.5 years will pretty much burn you out of never wanting
I
to
can
do
believe that.
another open house again,
Yeah.
as long as you live.
I love open houses.
I like open houses.
Yeah, I'm gonna list one and I'm doing something wild.
Oh, do you want to share? You want to share if you do it?
Sure, we're gonna do photos tomorrow and it's a dude living in this house. So I talked about it briefly the other week and that I've been in touch with this guy for over 10 years, dripping on him. He loves me. It's like, you're the only agent that's stayed in contact. So now he's finally ready to move south. So his house, Bob earmuffs, it's totally dude central. It's all dark brown. So the house is brown brick. The pool is plain. He just goes out there. So I bought floats and stuff to put in the pool. I'm
Oh,
gonna
cool.
do his table. I'm going shopping for that stuff next. Do place settings for outside. And I'm going to do a open house, I think, Friday evening, like around the pool and have waters and stuff for people. And then I think I'm gonna do one Saturday and Sunday.
Nice.
That's actually.
Nice.
But, cause it's like in the 400s.
Right.
His is a little dated. I'm trying to get him as much, his house is worth it because he's on a wooded almost acre.
And I think, I took about an 9-year break. Like I did 2 or 3 open houses for little old ladies that kind of wanted me to and insisted. But I think I'm just about ready to do it again because, it's been so long, but I've gotten a lot of my really good clients that way. Because I feel like I'm best in person.
Yep.
Not
too.
not just a cold call on the phone kind of thing.
Me too.
So, and I kind of miss that because, so I think I'm getting ready to do it again, which is why I chose open houses as my topic
Yeah.
to teach.
Yeah.
But, to have a little bit more fun with it. And I think we're in a much more flexible world than we were 15 years ago.
I
in
sold
terms
the
of that.
last 2 houses at open houses.
Mhm.
And so one was my listing. And literally there were 2 interested parties there. Then another one came, they were just firing questions at me. And I was good friends. I became good friends with my clients. So I was, and they all thanked me for that. Sold it to Brad Vieira's client. And I called these people and let them know. The last one was Courtney's listing in Hanover. And these people were coming through and, this lady, and I'm going through all the details with her. And we already had one in hand that day. Be darned, she called her agent and we had more offers from that open house. So I can sell from an open house.
Mhm. Yeah, I can't. too.
Maybe it's just in this market, I don't know,
Yeah.
but
I think open houses are a really good way to help you practice when talking to people as well. You can work out the kinks. If you're nervous to start calling people, if you're new and you haven't had a lot of conversations around real estate, it's a really good way to practice. And I think you get your authentic self when you're face to face.
Mhm.
I don't care how many times I've looked at a script and I write it in my own way, it still feels scripted.
Mhm.
So I think when you get in front of people, the dialogue is just better. I think they are more willing to talk to you. They came to you.
you have scripts for your kids.
I
You
do.
have scripts for,
Yeah.
overcoming objections, like going out. So
Yeah.
that's poor Bob did an open house with me early on. It turned into a stampede. I'm like, so I was gonna show you everything, but you need to manage people inside. I'll stand outside, register them because we were in COVID,
Yeah.
trying to keep them separated.
One of the things I really like about an open house is people are probably, especially if you're doing an open house for a house that's not actually your listing, you're not gonna know the details in and out. Somebody's gonna ask you a question and you're not gonna know the answer. And I think that's a great way to capture somebody's information because you say, you know what, I don't know, but let me get your phone number, your email, whatever, and I will find out for you. And that's a good way to capture, if they don't wanna sign in, it's a good way to capture somebody's information.
Yeah, what I wanna do is get gutsy enough to just not take any flyers to an open house, but share my app with them.
Oh, that's good. That's actually, I think younger people will really, really like that. Okay,
The open houses I've done, I've gotten people that didn't have agents that they were working with, so I've gotten their information. And I've shared my app a few times with some of the people that didn't have
yeah,
agents. But I follow up with them. I'll talk to them once or twice and then they just fall off the earth.
that's the
Or
key.
I get information, hey, I'm looking for this. Well, the house I did for Aaron, the open house I did for Aaron, that already had a contract on it, so people were aware of that when they were coming in. And I had a couple come in. I actually used to work with this lady's mother. So I sent them the information. I got their information, what kind of house you're looking for. They sent them, the automatic emails, the searches, they've never activated. Call them up, even trying to, get them, okay, what can I do? And I don't hear anything back, so.
Sometimes I feel like, it is a lot of legwork on our part, but I try to remember that even if they have an agent and they're not going to use me, I am still representing capital R, the
Yeah,
realtors. And I'd rather have them with a good taste in their mouth than
Yeah.
a bad experience or a bad taste in
Yep.
their mouth.
For
So,
people that come through, yeah, I'm not getting pre-approved yet until I find the house I want.
right,
And then
right.
I'm like, whether you use me or any other agent, I'm gonna tell you to do
Right.
yourself a favor right now in this market, get pre-approved first, because
Right.
people already have offers in on this.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Right,
That's.
exactly.
Like coming from contribution, always
Right.
has something to
Mhm.
offer them, and advice and information. Holding all the information doesn't get us anywhere, you
Mhm.
know?
And
It
I
was
feel
good
like
back in the day of the book, when you had to go to the
Yeah.
office to look at the book, but
those days are gone.
Okay. Does anybody hold events? Does anybody host events for prospecting? I have started doing this, that I did an ice cream, well, like an icy thing. And I just started doing
How
it
was
this
it?
year. It was good. We had about,
That's one thing I
so we're failing forward, we're learning things as we go. Follow up on the invite leading up to the event is really important. You gotta, I mean, you probably know this because you're putting stuff together, you know, you gotta just keep following up with them and getting them, you know, I think we invited like 80 people, and I think we probably had, including, like, we invited 80 clients. We probably had 20 clients plus their families, which ended up being about 60 people
that's cool.
for the ice cream.
Yeah.
We did the photos.
Mhm.
When we did the pictures in the park, we did it so wrong. We didn't market it right. We did nothing social media afterward. Like, we did it so wrong. So we're literally failing ourselves forward. We're gonna do that again this winter.
So did you do the truck at your office or?
We did. So we're at our office in Dillsburg,
Mhm.
we're on the back part of a building. And you can very easily block off the back part of that parking lot. So we had the truck at one end, and then we blocked off the other end, so and we did it on a Sunday, so none of the other business, because we share it with a State Farm and with the salon. So those businesses were not open. So they could park outside of our back area, and we had the whole inside area as mingling around, and kind of like down here, like you guys did. And we only did it for an hour, which we probably could have had that a little bit longer. One of the things we learned is you have to have people there helping you, like, because you need to mingle with the clients. So you need to have somebody there taking pictures, that their and you're not paying somebody, you're just asking your sister or somebody, hey, will you just take pictures? Because you're gonna forget to take the pictures, because you're trying to talk to people. Organizing people, like when we had to get people lined up for photos, we needed somebody to make the hot chocolate, give the hot chocolate, get people in line for photos, and then other people just taking pictures, because Christy and I did not do that. So we didn't have like one picture of us doing something that we could use for social media. And one of us, instead of being able to talk to people, was making hot chocolate the whole time. So I think holding events and giving them something, like, we did it with the photographer. I think I did it at Quay Park in Dillsburg, which you just give a donation. So I gave a $50 donation for the use of the park. I think we paid a photographer $250. You can go and find like an upcoming photographer that doesn't have a lot of business. They'll do it for less. They had everything set up that the pictures were literally sent in a link to them, and then they could just print them out, and it cost them nothing. And what was great, and we should have did this better, is we should have asked them to post their pictures and tag us, like we learned. And so after you have the event, have a recap and take notes of what you did great and what you could do better.
Another
for the
great
next
thing to
time.
do with the photos from an event, we did, well, when I was on a team, because like you, I like to do the events, but I've been scared to do them by myself since I've been solo. But one of the cool things we did then, since we had a photographer, is we picked out the best photo of each of the clients' family. So like one per family, and then we had them made on a magnet. And then as a thank you, we sent the magnet back to them and said, so glad you could come to our ice cream social.
Yeah.
You know, it was so good to see you. And even if it wasn't the complete family, but it might have been you and one of your children or something, whatever was the best photo we had, we sent that back so that, you know, then the next time you're at their house, like you see that magnet like on the refrigerator.
That's a good idea.
And it doesn't have any, like we, because we looked at different places to put like the Remax logo and everything, and then it got really expensive. So we're like, well, we're just gonna not do this. And so we didn't market it at all. Like we didn't put any branding on it. We just literally, you know, had them made into magnets, and people had them all over. And then whenever people, you know, then I've like been at clients' houses, and it's been like 5, 6, 7 years, and and we had a face painter and everything. So like they're
Yeah.
really cute pictures. They're like, yeah, that was my favorite picture. And I tell everybody who comes to our house that was my realtor. So even though there's like no branding, I'm not in it, it doesn't say anything with Remax, thank goodness. Like they still now can be like, oh, well, that, you know, so I'm still getting mileage out of that. And that's been like 5, 6 years.
The events, you can get elaborate and spend a lot of money, or, I mean, I think like the Kona Ice, I think our total investment was like, I think we paid like $150 for the truck to come. I actually think it was less than that. I had to pull up my receipts. We paid maybe $30, $40 at the dollar store to decorate, like we had like, you know, tropical stuff. And they loved it. Like the
Yeah.
people that came loved it. And I think like, I don't think you should, I think you should get systematized and specific with your events. Don't just try this and try this, try this. I think you should do 1 or 2 twice a year, and do it every year, because you will keep, people will, yeah.
Yeah,
so-
that's what we were doing. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you know, so now I'm like, is it safe to start again? And can we start again? So I'm starting to see more things happening in person.
Yes.
So I think I'm gonna do something this fall again.
So I want to, just one more thing before we finish up, and this is, I have seen probably the most traction with this in my years of real estate, is joining organizations and groups, getting involved in what your kids do, getting involved in the community. I was a band parent. My daughter did marching band, like color guard, for 6 or 7 years. You spend a lot of time with other band parents. I mean, I can't even tell you
Same
props.
with soccer moms.
Props,
basketball moms.
building props, putting the props on the field, taking the props off the field. You spend a lot of time with parents. Skylar's she graduated, she's been out of school for 4 years, and I'm listing a house today of a band parent. Like,
Mhm.
you create these relationships with people, you
They know
become
who
friends with
you
them on
are.
social media, they know who you are.
They've seen you at your worst.
They trust you, they know you are dedicated because they've seen what you've done with your children and hours of volunteering. Another good one, I think, is like the Kiwanis Club. I don't know if they have it but that's like 18 to 30-year-olds. So you're getting the first time home buyers when you're getting involved. I'm talking to the younger
We're
agents out
JCs.
there, like get involved in the Kiwanis Club, because you're getting people who are gonna be buying for the first time. They have Chamber of Commerce, Homeowners Association, that's a good one. Builders Association, I don't know what a Toastmaster is or a Rotary Club. These are the ones that I was thinking about. Get on a board or a committee for anything your kids are. What? I don't know what that is.
Isn't that?
What
It's
is
like a
it?
speaker's club.
Toastmasters?
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
learn
you
how to
learn
speak.
public speaking.
Public speaking.
Okay, so I get on a committee for anything your kid is on, like get on the board for what they're on, volunteer your time. The homeowners association, I think that's a good one if you live in a neighborhood.
For a long time, I'd say for 5 years, I was the only realtor member in the Builders Association.
Yeah, they don't,
And it was amazing because every single event I went to, except for the Builders Association, I should probably do that again. The Builders Association staff members who were females, I was the only female at any event. And of course, you know, I always wear my name tag. Every single person knew I was a realtor.
Yep.
I got so much flipping business out of that. I don't know why I quit.
You don't have to come on strong. Wear
No,
name
like
tag,
I would
wear
just
a
go to the
shirt.
happy hours and like they would
Yeah.
all like flock to me and say like, what's going on? What's
now
going on?
might be a good
Yep.
time to
Like,
rejoin.
Maybe I should, because you know, I totally forgot about that.
Soccer games, I
But
would
like-
show up in dress clothes and everybody would be like, why are you dressed up? You're normally wearing leggings. Oh, I just was showing houses. Oh,
Right.
you sell really, like it just
Right.
happens organically.
Yeah,
I think getting involved in organizations
that's a good one for you.
is
Sometimes
really
they heard
important.
us negotiate too. Like,
Yes.
I should join
Yep.
again.
So does anybody have suggestions of organizations
They're
that they
all
have?
gone.
Oh, okay, so we're not that excited. Anybody have suggestions of organizations they have joined and seem successful?
I should probably rejoin the Builders
I
Association.
have, I'm telling you, band
Well, I can't, I don't have any kids.
Band has
I
been probably
can't
my
adopt a
biggest,
kid in
biggest
band.
eater.
I've got 3, they're not in band. They'll be in something, cheerleading.
Yes, when people are selling the subs, buy the subs, even if you don't need them, give them away. Like, if, like, for the kids that are raising money.
Oh my
do-
God, at our house, like every child in my neighborhood knows that my husband and I are suckers. Like, we have bought like more like Girl Scout cookies and subs and pizzas and crap. Like,
Megan.
they just know.
I know, now I know who to
Yeah,
go
now you
to.
know who's a sucker.
Those are hard. I can never get people to buy. I always end up doing the payout.
Oh my God, no, like
Why don't you just bring it in here and sign
Just
up?
set it at the
I don't
counter.
want to be a Devin, but
Um,
I've done it.
I would say, so I know.
Well,
he's
I'm
listening
here
to
for
the
you,
recordings.
girl.
Get involved in organizations. That has been truly, I mean,
I joined a softball league and I have to say, like, I probably talk about real estate every game to
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
new, so.
Somebody will always ask you.
Yeah, what you do
then
and
be prepared to talk about
Your
something. They're gonna,
Your
I can't tell you
30-second
how many times I
elevator
showed up to a
speech.
soccer game, they're like, what's going on in real estate right now?
Yeah.
Like, be prepared to say something other than,
Oh,
It's
crap.
I'm in real
I had a
estate.
really
You know.
shitty day. That's why
Yeah.
I'm here.
yeah.
I don't want to talk about work.
So that's really all. I mean, like, there's so much into prospecting.
It's a
And
good reminder. We all need to do this.
yes, and I think the next one is marketing. So
It
you can use the marketing and put it back together with the prospecting. I have all my notes when I took this before was in marketing, because I guess that's the most. fun.
Yeah.
Marketing is always.
Well, thank you guys for.
This was good. Thank you.
I
Nicole,
hope you got
thank you.
something, one thing of it out of it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Let's go look at the notes that I actually took.
Maybe some of us get together as individual agents and do an event or events.
Well, that's one thing I mean, I'm sorry Erin has left, but I've been wanting to talk to her is because like I have all these great things that I've done in the past that were always my idea that I had to twist the arms of people on my team to do. And they've always been successful, but like I'm a little apprehensive.
Yeah.
I guess is the word.
Maria and
to-
I did a big
do them by
client
myself,
event the end
you know?
of January 2020. And then the world shut down.
Yeah.
Right.
So plus we had it at Heritage Hills and my people were all over the place.
I mean,
So,
this building is beautiful and you have so much space out
Mhm.
front here. You could do something in the parking lot and just in this out front, like on a Sunday.
Mhm.
Like the Kona ice truck, I mean, that was like so easy.
Yeah.
And I've
Literally.
done
Some
handles,
tablecloths, some like,
handles
things.
in
So
my
there's this
yard
thing
before.
called Slide Dial
Yeah,
yes.
I use that.
that you
Yeah.
could have just subscribed to that and set to just drop them a voice message like, hey, don't forget Sunday, Sunday,
Mhm.
Sunday.
Yes, we did an e-bike
Mhm.
and we did a Facebook thing. But we didn't actually get on the phone and call people, and that's where we screwed up.
Yeah.
You need to call them, like the week of, you need, but we actually
I
had
have all kinds of marketing stuff going through my head, like
Yeah, me too.
mail them,
Write it down.
mail them a cone and say, if you
Yes.
want the scoop, come see us.
That's
on
a good one.
That's
Sunday."
cute.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
can't
good.
turn that off. That weirdness happens all the time.
One of the things I wanna do, but it's not gonna happen, we needed to be working on it already. And so I'll probably like implement it probably for next year. It was a bold 100 that they talked about at Bold, with getting 100 people to come to you.
Right, like a reverse.
She did, it was a Keller Williams agent out of Mechanicsburg, Julie Hess.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
They gave away one of those green things, the
Mhm.
green,
Green egg.
and it was take the labor out of the Labor Day.
Yeah,
And she got 100 people to
Yeah.
call, because you had to call her,
yeah,
and then you got a ticket to win like there was 3 packages. They had the
Small,
egg.
medium and large,
Yeah,
yeah.
they had a
Cooler
Yeti,
thing
and then
and-
like a gift card to Carnes.
Yeah, I wrote it all down in my
Yeah.
own stuff.
I wanna do that,
And
but
if
I,
they gave referrals, they got extra
And
entry.
that's right, if they
Yeah.
gave, yes.
Yeah, for me, like, the event is like awesome. The planning is okay, but it's the pre-planning that
Mhm.
is where like I fall down in terms of, like, that's what I always relied on my secretary for, was 3 weeks before that, we need to do this, 2 weeks before that, we need to do this, because I'm not interested out here.
Me
But
either,
like,
I just wanna see the people.
like, yeah, 48 hours, 24 hours, like, like, that's what I'm good at. I'm not so good about this part. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
hard for me to get something planned and then stick to
And for
it.
help, we can always reach out to like
Other agents.
some kind of team, football team, baseball team, dog, like,
Kids,
yeah.
Like, honestly, if you
Yeah.
were having an event, I would come and take pictures for you.
Right,
Like,
I would
you have
too.
to
You
lead,
should
yeah,
just let
we
me
are
know.
all a team together.
And I think
And you
that's
should
one
have an
thing I
agent
need,
that you can trust and not come and coach on your people that
right,
say, listen, I'll come take pictures so you have something to show after this
right.
event
Like, if you would have
happens.
told me,
If-
like,
Yeah,
I would have been happy to
Yeah.
like, mum's the word, I'm just there, take a, you know,
if
like,
you wanna rent Kona Ice, like, have a couple agents, all do it together, have all your clients come. You're gonna know your people, and they're gonna come. I actually didn't recognize this is because in COVID, you did some business where you never actually saw the person.
Mm-hmm.
There were some people that came in, I did not, they had to like, they recognized
or their hair is
me.
long, or their hair is short, or they're
Yeah.
pregnant, or they're not pregnant, or,
Yeah.
you know, and you're like.
I actually invited all my tenants to all of our stuff too, because I don't, Jeff, are we done, I hope we're done recording.
Yeah,
Jeff and I, we don't lose tenants, our tenants don't leave, because I treat them like clients, like I literally treat my tenants. The only tenants we've ever lost is because one went and moved to another state for work, or I sold houses.
All my clients have freaking babies and move out.
Yeah.
Damn it. You know, like, can I get people who are past
All right,
like
I hope that was
birthing
good.
stage?
I probably wasn't the best person because.
No, you did great.
No, it's
good.
I was
Thank you so
learning,
much, Nicole.
I was learning things as I was going through this too. It's really the follow-up.
It
I
is,
mean, it is the
like
follow-up.
with everything, and it's the reminder that we are all in this together. And, you know, that's one of the things I'm so grateful to KW for, is because y'all are so willing to share.
It's a
and
different
It's totally different, you know, it's not,
than where we were.
you know, mean-spirited and, you
I
know,
don't know about
spiteful
that.
and, you know, like
I got
all of
fun.
How's your
that,
vacation?
you know?
I
Good?
need another one.
You need a vacation from the vacation?
Vacation from a vacation.
Like truly, I've never been on the go like that.
Yeah,
It
we're
was
getting ready.
nonstop. Yeah, but
How
so
many
worth
days were
it.
you gone?
Where'd you go?
We started in Denver and we wrapped our way around to Salt Lake City.
Oh, wow.
We did 2,200 miles in 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
We hit the national parks and like everything that we did.
Can I send it?
Ran 2 times, Big Sky, Montana, Yellowstone, like we hit it hard.
That's a lot of driving.
Yeah, well, we didn't drive. We didn't hire the guy
Oh,
to take
wow.
care of us, yeah. So
Wow.
that worked out really well. Because they know the area.
Yeah.
And we really got lucky.
That
with
was the
Yellowstone.
biggest thing that was
Because it was
missing, we
close.
needed help.
Right, yeah.
And we got in.
Yeah.
The one day.
But like,
We're supposed to be in
um,
two.
wanted to
But it opened Wednesday, we got in Wednesday.
Santa Claus and
Yeah.
have pictures
But this is a training room.
with Santa
that we
for
have.
families, and
Yeah.
we're gonna do it, I wanted to. A decorate your door contest here.
Oh, we've done that.
And
like,
have that at the same time, and then do like a Santa's workshop, and have a whole bunch of coloring pages for the kids while they wait for their photos. and
when we were on
cookies.
Eastern Boulevard, I got super competitive over the
Did you?
decorating. I brought a fireplace in. Like, I
Oh,
don't play.
that's, yeah.
So
Well,
if
I
you
wanna
do-
build one.
Like, if you're gonna do